Hi class, in lesson 2 you will be solving problems with ratios of fractions. Learning goals for today: you will compute unit rates from ratios of fractions, including ratios of lengths and areas, and interpret complex rates to solve real-world problems involving lengths and areas. A key term to look for in lesson 2, complex ratio. Please turn to page 61, activity 2.1, comparing ratios of fractions. The table shows the weights of 4 different adult birds and the weights of their eggs. Please answer number 1 with your group. For number 1, here is your list of birds in order from the heaviest egg to the lightest egg. The swan is 11 ounces, the chicken 2 ounces, the pigeon 3/4 of an ounce, and the robin 1/10 of an ounce. Please note that the strategy to compare ratios is the same regardless of the types of numbers used. Please answer number 2 and 3 with your group. For number 2, here are the ratios of egg weight to mother's weight for each bird. The pigeon is 3/4 to 10, the chicken 1 to 40, the swan 11 to 352, and the robin 1/10 to 5/2. For number 3, one way to compare ratios is to convert your ratios into decimals. When I converted my ratios into decimals, this is the list of birds in order from greatest to least: pigeon, robin, swan, and chicken. Please turn to page 62, activity 2.2, determining unit rates from ratios of fractions. Although the ostrich is the largest living bird, it is also the fastest runner. The table shows distances that 4 birds ran and the amount of time it took each bird to run that distance. Please remember that a rate is a ratio that compares two quantities that are measured in different units. Each row in the table shows a rate. The rate for each bird in this situation is the distance covered per the amount of time. Please answer number 1, letters A through D with your group. For number 1, the rate for the ostrich is 22 miles per half hour. Letter B, the rate for the roadrunner is 300 yards to half a minute. For letter C, the rate for the quail is 20 yards in 5/2 of a second. And for letter D, the rate for the pheasant is 200 yards in 5/6 of a minute. Please turn to page 63. You know that the ostrich ran 22 miles in half an hour. So let's take a look at the worked example in order to determine the unit rate for the ostrich. The rate of the ostrich is already measured in miles and hours, so you can set up a proportion and scale the original rate up to 1 hour. Your scaling up factor is 2, so the ostrich's speed is 44 miles per hour. Please turn to page 65, activity 2.3, solving problems with fractional rates. Please answer number 1, letters A, B, and C with your group. For number 1, letter A, I circled the initial ratio that you were given in the ratio table. This is what the rest of the ratio table should look like. I included my arrows and the scaling up and scaling down factors. Yours may have been different. Whatever scaling up or scaling down factors you used, you should still have the same equivalent ratios in your table. Please check it over with your group. For letter B, Tony would charge $187.50 for 7.5 hours of tutoring. And for letter C, he would tutor for 8.5 hours. I set up my proportion and divided 212.5 by 25 to get 8.5 hours. Please answer number 2 and number 3, letters A and B, with your group. For number 2, the cost of a single order of wings with the deal will be $4. For number 3, letter A, Abby would need 3/8 of a scoop to make 1 cup of drink. And for letter B, she can make 30 cups. This will conclude lesson 2 on solving problems with ratios of fractions. Please let your teacher know if you have any questions. Thanks.